we received a couple of emails from individuals asking, why did the First Nations not want to move forward with economic development? What are the big challenges there? And it's quite a complex issue. So with that, I want to relate a story to you. A couple of years ago, I was in downtown Vancouver, and I was on the SkyTrain. And it was a little bit later in the afternoon, so it was nice and quiet, and I was actually just heading down to another meeting on the other side of the city, so I caught the SkyTrain, and it's quite quick. So I was on the SkyTrain, and I was preparing for my next meeting, and it was really nice, quite nice and quiet on the car that I was in. And what happened is we made a stop at one of the places to pick up people and that. So this blonde-haired guy got on with a couple little blonde-haired kids. I think his kids were probably 9, 7, and probably 5 years old. They're roughly about 2 years apart, and so they all got on the SkyTrain. It was still quiet. They're the ones that got on. And what happened was, as they sat, the guy sat down, the kids got up, and they started running up and down the SkyTrain and just yelling and ranting and screaming and everything else. And so it was really disruptive. And so I thought, well, I'm not going to discipline these kids. I'm going to go talk to the parent. So I went and I approached the guy and I said, "Excuse me, sir." And he looked at me and kind of like came out of his daze and looked at me, and I said, "Do you mind kind of like keeping control of your kids? They're causing a little bit of a ruckus here." And he looked at me and he says, "Yeah, I guess so. I just came from the hospital," he said, and my wife passed away, right? Just died this morning, and I guess they just don't know how to handle it, and I don't know how to handle it," he said to me, right? And I looked at him and I could see this definite look of trauma, loss, disconnection from reality with respect to, not being able to comprehend what had just transpired with the loss of his wife. So, I immediately understood why the kids were acting the way they were acting, because there was really nobody there to comfort them and assist them. So, you have to look at that and say, from a humanitarian perspective, I really felt quite bad even about asking about it and broaching that subject. Now you take that same type of trauma that this individual could not handle at the time, and his children definitely could not handle, and you multiply that by 200 years of trauma and challenges that have impacted our communities, then you begin to understand what oppression is about and why our communities don't really think much about entering into relationship environments with the non-Aboriginal component. And it really does have a lot to do with that, because what winds up happening is the oppression is so bad on the community itself that the community then pushes back on the oppressor. So that's why it's really challenging for communities to move forward with economic development and economic activity, or any type of business development, or any type of industry agreement. Bottom line, it's all about trust. Can they trust you? So with that, you got to look at how do you start to bridge that gap, that trust gap. And that means that it's going to take a lot of work, a lot of effort, and it's just not as easy as you think when you talk about why do they not want to move forward. Bottom line is you got to build trust. So with economic development, it's all about, especially within our communities, it's about building that trust relationship and moving that relationship forward on a mutually beneficial arrangement. It can't be all about one side taking advantage of the other side. So that's why we're here as an organization, as a company. It's to give you a hand up, not a handout.